Hi, Brian Shea here, host of the All Things Nintendo podcast and former director at Game Informer magazine. Thank you so much to the team at Boss Rush for including me in the Bossies 2024. I'm here to share my top three games of the year that we just concluded. I think it was actually a very strong year, despite the fact that we didn't have these major tentpole releases. But it was a very hotly contested spot at the top of my game of the year list. But without further ado, here is the quick rundown of my top three games of 2024. Coming in at number three, it's the game that won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, Astrobot. And any game from these top three entries on my favorite games of the year could easily be number one any day of the week. It's just, you caught me on this day, so this is the order it's coming in. But number three for me, Astrobot. It's so rare that Nintendo is outdone, matched, or even come close to in the realm of a platformer. And Astrobot is one of those where it is as good, if not better, than some of my favorite 3D Mario games. And that is saying so much. The creativity, the clear love for just gaming in general, and the unbridled joy that Astrobot delivers is higher concentration than any other game I've played in recent memory. It's just a blast to play through, and I can't wait to replay it. I'm so happy that I saw it all the way through, and there's so many more secrets that I have that I every time I fire up my PlayStation to play something else, it's always a temptation for me to go back and see if I can just find that one other Astrobot that I haven't found before. So that comes in at number three for me. Number two is a game that I think caught everybody by surprise this year, and that is Balatro. It is, a poker roguelike by a guy who doesn't really like poker, from what I understand. But he has taken the game mechanics, the core game mechanics of poker, which, whether you like it or you don't like it, it's a well-designed game, and its longevity would tell you that. But he has, the developer Local Thunk has made a product out of poker in Balatro that is perhaps even more perfectly designed than poker itself, because it gives you that incredible one more round feeling. And roguelikes have always been a tough sell for me. And in order to hook me, it needs that amazing eureka moment from the very early stages. And there's been, I would say, I can count on my hand how many roguelikes I've stuck with. Balatro might be my favorite roguelike of all time. It might be among my favorite indie games of all time, and for that, it lands at number two for me. It's absolutely my playing game at this point. It's always been Vampire Survivors, but now Balatro has kind of supplanted that as I have time to kill on a flight, I am going to fire up Balatro. And then number one for me is a game that when I finished it, I said it would take something extremely special to dethrone this as my game of the year. Balatro and Astrobot almost did it, but not quite. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it was the game that coming into this year I was most excited for, and it delivered. It is the exact kind of open world that I can get obsessed with. I know some people had some problems with the pacing. Some people had some problems with the way the open world progressed. I didn't have problems with any of those. I loved the story. I loved the open world exploration. I think I 100%ed like the first three biomes, and then eventually I got to a point where I was like, okay, I need to actually play through this story or I'm never going to finish it. But yeah, just the emotional journey that these characters that we're all so familiar with by now are going through. It's truly one of my favorite games of this generation so far, and I cannot wait to see how this development team that is, a combination of newcomers to the franchise or relative newcomers and the old guard like Tetsuya Nomura and Yoshinori Kitase, who've been with the franchise for decades. They've come together to create something really special in these first two parts of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. And the third part, I have no reason to believe will be any different. So thank you so much again to the team at Boss Rush for including me in this. And if you want to find me, you can search for the All Things Nintendo podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.